Hi guys, welcome to the video. So today I would like to talk about someone named Harold Shipman, who's who's considered to be a mass murderer and also a doctor in practice. So he was an English general practitioner, and he was also known as Doctor Death. So I wanted to give you guys a walkthrough from a statistical standpoint. With just his numbers, right, in terms of people who met their death in his care, could we have detected much earlier about this hideous activity of Harold Shipman, right? He was found guilty of the murder of 15 patients under his care. His total number of victims was allegedly 250. Right. So I'll give you a little introduction about this case and its association with Harold Shipman. Early detection of his case happened in 1998, and it was reported by someone named Linda Reynolds of Brook Surgery. Right. It is again alleged that he would administer a lethal dose of diamorphine to patients, which, when administered in great doses, can lead to fatality. Right. The analysis talks about scenario if his activity could have been captured much earlier, and most of the analysis is done by David Spiegelhalter. Right. He's a great statistician, accomplished statistician in UK, and most of his analysis is what I'm going to speak today. So the visualizations, right, majority of them was constructed by him. It's just that I uncovered this case from reading a book called Art of Statistics, Learning from Data, again written by David Spiegelhalter. Now let's go to the cases. So this is a graph that talks about what is the proportion of women and man under Shipman's care. I mean, the people who met their death, right, gender-wise. We can see that both genders are comparable till 1984, and post which, right, we could see a big deviation, right. We could see increase in fatality of women, right, after 1984, right. The biggest concern that we have is post 1993, because you can see a sudden shoot up, right, a very big anomaly. Which also looks pretty scary, right? So that's the biggest deviation, and we could see that there is a flat line here. I mean, for a brief period, we could see that there is a gap around 1992. It seems that before that he was working in a joint practice, right, with other practitioners, other general practitioners. Maybe that's the reason he went subtle, and it was becoming difficult for people to observe his hideous pattern. So this is a graph that talks about the gender difference in death rate under Shipman's care. Right. Let's see what the other graph has to say about Shipman statistically. So this is also an interesting graph. So let me add other filters. I mean, this is without any filters. So if you see here, this is a nice artwork. Seems like someone painted the page in the middle and then folded it. Only then you'll get such a pattern. But having said that, the pattern that we are seeing here, on which month we have maximum kills, right? We could see the tail part of the graph has a big dumbbell, before which we have again a very small shaft that I was talking about, right? When Shipman was practicing with other general practitioners, he went stealthy. So that's the reason you're seeing a small shaft here. I mean, there's not a large number of murders that has happened here, right? But if you can see, right, the last 3 months of the year, comparatively speaking, are looking fatter than earlier months of the year, right? When you compare months like, okay, let me give you one example where the contrast is pretty clear, right? I'll take one, and I'll also take 12. So you can see that the number, right, which indicates December, has a higher death rate compared to Jan, right, in most of the cases. So maybe he was a little active in the end of the year. Maybe it's a holiday season, but again, it's just the hypothesis that we have, and I was not able to find any causation there. But yet, this graph looks pretty interesting. So yeah, this is by far the most significant visualization as far as Shipman goes, and it is, like I said, it is also very scary. This graph talks about time where more deaths occurred, right? The yellow ones that you see is for other general practitioners, and if you see for Harold Shipman, there's clearly a deviation here, right? So you can see that on an average, right, post 2 o'clock, I guess, he's killed 14 people. So we are comparing murders between Shipman in blue versus other general practitioners in yellow. We could see Shipman on average had 14.1 murders around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe post lunch. When you compare, them with other general practitioners, they're not even near, right? It's a very big peak here that you're seeing, and like I said, it's pretty scary and daunting to just look at it. Maybe Shipman was enjoying his kill after lunch, but this is applicable to investigation again. But this is a very, interesting, unique, yet very daunting to look at and disturbing to look at. Maybe it's interesting statistically, but very unfortunate. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. And so yeah, this is a very small detailed graph. This basically talks about the average age with respect to different years. The lowest being 62, right? On average, if you see in 1992, the average age of his victims on that year has been 62, and you can see that average age being highly scattered over the years. I mean, not a big pattern that I'm seeing because it's all very scattered, but when you see in the last years, it's here. I mean, you can see a separate cluster, right? You can see that this alone can be clustered. So I do see some clusters here and there, maybe because of the brief rest that he had, that I was talking about earlier, but nothing very interesting that I'm seeing here. So yeah. And this is where we actually get very inferential. So what is that we infer, right? Could he be captured much earlier than 1998? Maybe we could have saved a lot of victims if we looked at his numbers deeply, much prior to his sentencing. So what David Spiegelhalter has done is he's performed a test called sequential probability ratio test. I'll talk about this in a moment. So you can get the reference of his analysis here. It's not something that I did. It's it is his analysis. But to put this in perspective, sequential probability test is a hypothesis test for sequential samples. So it is also called, SPRT in short. So SPRT ratio test is a likelihood ratio test in statistics, right? So SPRT enables a researcher to come to a conclusion with a minimum amount of data. And again, with respect to, although, Harold Shipman had a lot of kills, right? A lot of murders that he did. But still, it's not a very big sample with respect to data itself, right? So sequential probability ratio test it is a statistics used for detection of doubling of mortality, right? This is basically a graph where you have cumulative mortality between female and males, right? We could see that he's crossing this threshold. All these lines, right, are thresholds basically. This line, the most lighter line, is the most sensitive line out of all these 4 lines, and this is least sensitive. And even with least sensitive line, you can see that he'd be crossing this threshold with respect to female somewhere in 1993. This is the cumulative sum of his victims, right? So basically what it says that to have such a pattern, there's only 1 in a million chance that it is going to happen in chance, right? So which means that there's definitely an effect here. So the straight line indicates thresholds for alerting, which provide the overall type 1 alpha and type 2 beta error rates that are shown here and are assumed to be equal. Looking at the line, right, for female, it is apparent that Shipman would have crossed the outer threshold in 1984, like I said, right? So this is the point where we could have been much vigilant. Maybe we could have saved a lot of victims, right? But again, this is very unfortunate. This is a statistical perspective that we are giving in this case. So nobody would know prior to this, right? He was actually very good in operating in a very stealth mode when it comes to his murder. So there are a couple of interesting stats apart from this. This is largely from my research on this case, which is also adding to interesting stats, right? Interesting, but again, unfortunate stats, right? So this is, to start with, this is more of a question, right? How 5 patients died in this surgery, right? That itself is, that deserves to be very alerting, right? There is an interesting outlier, right? There was an instance where 8 people were killed in a month under his care, right? And even more scarier fact is there was an instance where 6 people were murdered in one street under his care. And there was a phase where to obtain his killer drugs, right, diamorphine, he turned a patient into drug addict to this drug, right? And his father, the victim's father, did question him on the treatment of his son, right? Again, just because of this nature of his father being very questionable about his treatment, he was killed by Harold Shipman, right? And he has victim who, there was a victim of his who actually did leave a small fortune to him. I don't even know why he killed that person, because he was only kind enough to leave him a fortune. So this is my take on Harold Shipman's case. Again, most of the visualization is done by David Spiegelhalter. Thanks to him. A lot of credits to him for sharing this publicly. But it seems it was very interesting for me to look at all these stats and visualization and maybe share it with you guys. And if you like this video, please let me know. And if you think that I can improve more, please do let me know as well. So thanks a lot for watching.